Welcome to Sensational Living with Liliana. I hope you are having a great day. It's absolutely gorgeous in Orange County. Had a long sleeve shirt on, I threw it. I thought, oh my God, it's summer again. Anyway, we've had just absolutely extraordinary weather, so I hope you guys have had the same. We're gonna do a great recipe, and this is actually good for anyone who actually has blood sugar issues, immunity issues, or really just wants to lose weight. I call it a Slender turkey taco salad. So getting ready for the holidays here. Mexican style. So we've got some organic ground turkey. You can use beef as well, so if you'd like to have that and it's your preference, go ahead. I like turkey. We've got some Portobello mushrooms. I use Portobello because they're not as fungus oriented as the button or the creamy mushrooms. You might have noticed that when you have mushrooms in your refrigerator after a couple days, they get really slimy and funky. So these are beautiful. They really last a long time. I just take a little paper towel, wipe them down, because of course, since mushrooms are very porous in nature, they take in a lot of water, so I don't dunk them in water to clean them. But I do use grapeseed extract for absolutely everything that I clean, even my mushrooms, because this really helps to get rid of the critters. When I travel, I don't go anywhere without it, because again, it helps to get rid of any of those little wonderful critters that want to come back home with you. So that's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and start with starting with the onions, and all this is a white onion. It's about 1 cup of chopped white onions. You can use red onions if you like. So, you know, again, I always say, enjoy yourself, have fun, experiment with things that you like. Now, for me, we like pretty hot food, and so I'm going to put some jalapenos. You put it to your taste. This is just some chopped jalapenos. I've got jalapenos chopped in 2 sizes because we're going to make some pico de gallo, so we want a lot smaller because we really don't want to have to bite into a jalapeno pepper. But when it's cooked, it gets really tender, just like a bell pepper would. So we're going to start with a little bit of onions and to get this fire going pretty good. So I hope you had an opportunity to create sensational moments this week. I know I've had a few. My husband went off to China this week, so we had a great week getting a new carpet in our house and new paint, so it was sensational all over the place. And he's off to China as of yesterday, so he's doing painting, plein air painting, so I'm sure when he comes back he'll have some sensational paintings to show me. So let's go ahead and start off. I put about 2 tablespoons of walnut oil. I like using walnut oil or avocado oil or coconut oil because they burn at a really nice high heat. I don't use olive oil for cooking anything that I'm going to actually cook in the way of anything over 180 degrees. Okay, get that going. So I'm going to go ahead and add these jalapeno peppers. Now again, I just chopped them up fairly coarse. You don't have to chop them up too fine when we're doing this, but when you make the salsa, you want to chop them up pretty fine. So I'm going to just get this going here, and I'm going to go ahead and start the portobello mushrooms. Now with the portobello mushrooms, I like to use either gluten-free tamari as a little sauce, or also you can use coconut amino acids. I like either one of them. The coconut amino acid has a little sweeter taste, and so this is more of a spicy taste, so I like using the gluten-free tamari. Now my goal today is, as I said before, is slender turkey taco because we're going to do really low carbohydrates. Now it's coming into winter, so our body's going to want more metabolically active foods. So that's why people start to crave oatmeal for breakfast and rices and noodles and things like that, because their body wants some metabolic firing foods. But when we have a salad, it doesn't really seem that exciting in winter because it's cold. But if you pair it up with a cooked food like this turkey taco that we're going to put over it, it seems to satiate you really nice and still keep you at that really low carbohydrate level. So now the whole goal of really trying to create healthy meals is trying to create at least 50% of what you're eating in the green family or the vegetable family. And so I would say if you can do 50% raw and 50% cooked, that would be ideal. So today that's exactly what we're going to do. And then of course, as winter approaches and we want to have a little bit more warm foods, and 50% of those, what would have been raw, would go half cooked and then half raw, which would be your salads or any of the vegetables that we can make into little side salads. So we got that going. I'm going to go ahead and get that going. Get the mushrooms in here. I used the same thing. I just used some of that the walnut oil. Now these pans are awesome. They're actually waterless pans when used correctly. And these are called the Salad Master pans. They're actually medical grade steel. I got these pans probably about 15 years ago. In fact, they're a lifetime guarantee. But the beauty about these pans is that they don't leach any toxic metals into your food because they are medical grade. They're called the Salad Master, and I absolutely love them. And there's quite a few others on the market now that are competing with this, but this is one of my favorites. So I'm just going to let that go. The beautiful thing about mushrooms is that they let out a lot of water. Last week when we were talking about foods that turn into sugar, I mentioned that those foods that excrete a lot of water, those are the ones that are very low in sugar. So when they let go, they're actually letting go of some of your weight loss as well. Some of your problems metabolically as well. So it's nice when we can have watery foods that's going to give us not just the minerals, because you don't kill the minerals when you cook. You will break down the enzymes, but you won't kill the minerals, and you'll have lots of water for the lymphatic system. So we've got these onions going here pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and add this ground turkey. Now the thing about the ground turkey is that you want to make sure that you keep your eye on this and stir it, otherwise it's going to get into big chunks, and it's not very fun having a salad with big chunky meat on it. So we want to make sure that as it starts to brown, that we just kind of keep, chopping it into smaller size pieces. Quite full here. I don't want it to jump out of the pan on me. Now because I'm going to be mixing these mushrooms with the meat, I'm not at all concerned about contaminating in terms of crossing the utensils that I'm using. Now normally if I was doing a salad or anything that was going to be raw or a vegetable, I would not use the same utensils that I was going to be using for meat. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I've gotten a lot of good feedback. Thank you so much. Some of you have been requesting some vegetarian recipes, so I will do that one next. And so I thought about doing a zucchini pasta, and so that will be my next recipe next week. If I don't go out of town, I'm going to do it on Friday. If not, it will be the next Friday, all right? So I usually tell my patients that have immunity issues, it's always better to do vegetarian at night and keep your digestive system a little easier on the digestive system and on the liver. And so oftentimes they run out of ideas in terms of what to cook as a vegetarian meal in the evening, especially that's satiating. And so one of the things that I do like doing is the pastas, whether it's a butternut squash, whether it's a spaghetti squash, or whether it's a zucchini pasta. Those are really satisfying because we can put a lot of flavor into them, put a lot of different vegetables in them as well. Okay. Glad I changed my shirt. It is hot today. Got this thing going good. So I'm also going to be making some salsa, so while this thing is going, we're going to let that go. My mushrooms seem to be doing really well, so I'm going to go ahead and just let them cook there. In fact, you notice that I did not put a lid on them because I don't really want them to excrete that much water, because I'm going to be putting them into the turkey taco recipe here, and I don't want it too liquidy because I'm putting it over salad, so I don't want it to be a soupy salad, but I want it to be a nice enough texture that the greens stay really crisp. So you're going to notice that I'm not going to be adding any tomatoes actually into the turkey taco mix. Okay. So you can see if you just kind of keep playing with it a little bit, you can get this into nice little chunks. We're just going to let that go. Try not to let it jump out of the pan here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and make a salsa, pico de gallo salsa. I mentioned to you, I think it was 2 recipes ago, that I would be doing this. And so we've got some fresh tomatoes here. I've got 4 beautiful Roma tomatoes. And of course you want these to be organic because this is one that's on the list that has the highest amount of pesticides on it. I drain it, so I chop them up into small bite-sized pieces and drain it because we don't want too much liquid in it as well. I'm going to go ahead and put some fresh, just spring onions. Some people call these scallions, but I call them spring onions. So it's about a half a cup. I'm going to put some wonderful cilantro. The thing I love about cilantro, and using it in a lot of different recipes, it's a heavy metal chelator, especially for mercury. And so again, if I'm making a green drink, I love just taking a big chunk and throwing it into the blender. Or if I'm making the salsa, you know, I put a good half a cup in here just so that we can get the benefits of this wonderful herb. Then I'm going to put some jalapeno. Now I tasted this jalapeno earlier and it was kind of spicy. And so again, I'm just going to go ahead and put probably about 2 tablespoons in here. And then of course you can correct it, you know, depending on how hot you would like it, how spicy your family likes it. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice. So a little citric acid seems to hold it over pretty good. And that way it'll last about 2 days in your refrigerator. It usually is gone in 2 days anyway, so it doesn't last that long when it's fresh. When it's cooked, it'll last for over a week. So this I just do enough for what I'm going to eat today and tomorrow, because I always make enough food for lunch the next day. I'm very much an advocate of bringing your food to work so that you have quality food. So often patients are at the mercy of what's available, and usually it's not quality. So if they just make a little bit more dinner, they can bring it to lunch, and vice versa. So I always make more than what we need, which is great. And since I have a big family, I always end up with more company at the dinner table, so sometimes I've got to sneak and put it away. Okay, so this is going pretty good. So this is letting out quite a bit of water, so I'm not going to add any more, any tomatoes, which is, you know, a lot of times when people make this taco turkey mix, they do add tomatoes to it. I'm going to be adding some spices in just a moment here. And again, really be adventurous with your spices. Don't hesitate to play around, and I'm going to give you some key ingredients that I use when I'm doing this. But again, you can play with it. Sometimes I put dill in here. I'm not putting that in today, but it's kind of fun to do as well. Just play around as much as you can. So before I put the spices in, I'm going to get it a little bit browner. So now we have it chunked up really nicely, so we'll go ahead and just leave that for a moment, let it go. Okay, so we've got this beautiful salsa here, pico de gallo. I'm going to add a little teeny bit of salt, probably about a half of a teaspoon here. Okay, and just taste it a bit here. Perfect. And you can just taste a little of that heat, so it's really nice. And a little bit of the tanginess of the lemon. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of this jalapeno. Why not? Why leave a little bit in the bowl? So isn't that beautiful? Easy. And it's so nice because we're going to actually use this as a salad dressing. That's why it's going to be a Slender turkey taco, because we're not going to have it. We don't need the need of a salad dressing, which is great. The next time I'm going to do a cilantro dressing. Again, I love using the cilantro for the chelating aspect, but that's when I make the vegetarian taco salad, because as I said before, a lot of my patients are asking me for ideas that they can use for vegetarian types of meals. So I'll be fixing those at least 1 to 2 a month. Okay, we've got this thing going pretty good now. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding my spices to this. So it's cooked enough, it's still a little pink, which is just perfectly fine. This whole meal here, honestly, should not take you more than a half an hour. So we've been cooking, what, for about 12 minutes on this or so. So I think we're pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and add some gluten-free tamari. You can add coconut amino acids. They're just a tiny bit sweeter. And like I said, this is a little bit more savory and a little bit more chili. But sometimes it's kind of nice, just depending. So I put about 1.5 tablespoons. I'm going to add a little Chipotle seasoning just to kind of give it that little bit of a smoky taste to it. A little hot, spicy taste. A little paprika just to bring out the color. So again, it's probably about 1/4 teaspoon. I'm going to have the recipe underneath it, so don't worry. This is cumin. I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon of that. A little bit of oregano. I just take the lid off, make it a little easier for me. Then a little bit of chili powder. About 1/4 teaspoon as well. And so again, you can correct the seasoning in regards to how hot and you like it or any flavors. Sometimes, like I said, I add dill to this, which is kind of interesting and really not part of a Mexican turkey taco, but I found when I added it one time, it was absolutely fantastic. But I'll add that to when I do the vegetarian one, just to give yourself a different taste. All right, excellent. So yeah, you want to keep it chopped up. Don't do chunky because chunky's no fun. See, like that piece right there is pretty chunky. You kind of want to chop it up to make sure that when you're eating this, it's very easy to eat. Some of my patients complain that when they don't have a whole lot of energy, even chewing for them is stressful and strenuous. So again, try to make it as easy as possible. Okay. Perfect. Gonna add some salt. Gonna add probably about, I'd say, a teaspoon of salt. Now you can add pepper to it. I'm not adding pepper because I said this was a recipe that would be suitable for cancer patients. I don't have my patients using black pepper in their recipes because it's too harsh for them. It's too acidic. Oftentimes you'll see black pepper as an agent in some of the products, pepperine, but they usually use it as an agent to drive that herb or whatever ingredient is into the tissue a little bit better, but we don't actually have them eat it. It's usually kind of infused with it when we do any kind of pepper in any of our recipes that we're making any kind of tinctures or teas. Okay. So you can see this isn't your typical red, color that you would have because there's no tomatoes in here, because I don't want it to be saucy because it's going to go over salad, so I still want to maintain, as I said before, that nice crispness of the salad. Okay, so I'm going to taste this and see if I need to correct any of the seasonings that we have. And as you can see here, it still has a little bit of liquid here, so it's not going to be at all dry, which is awesome. Nothing worse than dry meat. Okay, let's have a little taste of this. Perfect. Don't need to add a thing to it. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and add these mushrooms back to it. Isn't that beautiful? So you've got some nice mushrooms in here, some more vegetables. Since this is going to be a main salad, I want to make it as hearty as I can, still keeping the carbohydrates as low as I can. And so that makes it really nice. It's going to have a lot of impact in regards of flavor, density, texture, so you should be very, very satiated. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down a bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the lid here on. Now I want to show you a really cool little tool that I have. This is the Salad Master. I love this machine. I got this, when I got the rest of my set. You can get these on the internet. They don't really sell them separately. They sell them with the whole kit. But I want to show you how fabulous this is because you can make a whole salad, and I'll do that in another recipe just using this. So this is, I'm going to put some carrot just to bring up the carbohydrates a tad, because if you have a meal that's too low in carbohydrates, you'll be hungry in about an hour and a half. And that's not my intent. My intent is to eat, be satiated for at least 3.5 hours. 4 hours would be better, and then be hungry and ready to go again, either a snack or a meal. So I take this, and look at how nice it comes out. Beautiful little teeny shreds of carrot. So again, it's not chunky and choppy, very easy to eat for anyone with any kind of difficulty even with chewing. And then this beautiful red cabbage here. So beautiful, full of all these anthocyanins, good antioxidants. The cruciferous in this is great sulforaphane, so this is great for breast health. So again, giving the salad a lot of little color, which makes it really fun. Just wanted to show you how that works. But as you can see here, it comes up really nice, and it's really going to add a lot of color to our salad. All right. Go ahead, set that there. I think we are just about done. Let's have a look. Ooh, that looks fantastic. So you can see this is really easy, and this is enough to definitely feed 4 to 6 people, for sure. 4, 6 if you don't have such big eaters, but honestly, to make it really satiated, you want to put a decent enough pile on there. so that you can feel like you've eaten enough food. All right, let's go ahead and put this meal together. You see, it didn't take much time at all. I'm going to go ahead and put some salad. Now, this is just romaine lettuce. I'm going to go ahead and add some color to this. So I'm going to go ahead and add a handful of our beautiful cabbage and carrot. Isn't that beautiful? Salad. Now, this is just romaine lettuce. I'm going to go ahead and add some color to this. Going to go ahead and just put that right on the plate. Isn't that gorgeous? Again, that's about a good size serving for someone. In my family, we definitely that or a little bit more on salad. We love it. Okay, let's go ahead and pile some of this beautiful turkey taco mix on there. It stays nice and crisp and wonderful. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of these beautiful radishes just as a little decor around. Again, the more crunchier we get, the more satisfied we are, the more fiber that we're consuming. Fiber is beautiful because it actually suppresses a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that gets the signal to the brain telling you, I'm hungry. So adding a lot of fiber to your diet really helps you to feel satiated for a longer period of time. Okay, I'm going to add a little avocado. Make it just gorgeous. Now, some people would add cheese on top, but as you know, I'm not a real advocate of dairy, cow cheese. I do say that organic whipping cream is great because it doesn't have any protein in it. It doesn't have any carbohydrates. It's all fat. So what I've added as an option is some Creme Fraiche. And this is beautiful. It really has 1 carbohydrate and 1 protein for 2 tablespoons. So again, it works really well. So this is optional. You don't have to do it or not. Some people like to put a little yogurt on there, but my family likes just a little teeny bit of dollop of something cream, beautiful and smooth like that. So you've got every texture here. You've got crunchy, you've got the smoothness, you've got the, nice spice bite to it. So you've got the savory. So this meal will satisfy every aspect of your emotional needs. We don't need the chips in this at all. So here we are, less than 30 minutes, and you have a fabulous Slender turkey taco salad. You can enjoy this today. If you're going to have it tomorrow, don't add the lettuce to it. Keep it separate, and tomorrow take it to lunch, and you will be so happy. I hope you've enjoyed this show, and if you like it, share it with your friends and family. And if you have any requests, don't hesitate to ask, and I'll be happy to do the next recipe for you. Have a sensational day.